Yo, what's up, guys? This is Bunny Muffins. We finally have patch 10.6, which means set 3 is finally here. So we're going to run down these patch notes and let's get ready to start the new season because this one, I checked out the PvE a little bit, which is the public test environment that they have, and it was looking pretty nice. You know, it's nice to get a change from set 2, but there is a little quick glance here for all the champions and traits, which I highly do recommend. I also have some videos showcasing each of the champions that I'm still in the process of completing. So definitely you'll want to check those out as well. I'll leave a link in the description down below. But let's start up with some of the rank changes. So the Galaxy's rank season will start immediately, and there's no longer any rank decay below Master. You can also not decay out of Master, so people, I guess, once they hit Master, they could like quit the game, I guess. But a couple of minor changes. This shouldn't affect too much, but it is nice that rank gets to start right away. So now the system, lots of changes here. They wrote a whole article about it. So Galaxy's mechanic is now on patch 10.7. So pretty much Galaxies are different maps, each with a different theme. So we'll just look out for those when it comes out next patch, which is in 2 weeks. So passive income got changed, and this is probably the biggest change. You now get a lot less gold early in the game. It went from 3 or above to 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, starting at round 1, 2. And we also can't sell champions during the carousel anymore, so definitely you want to keep that in mind when you're playing during the carousel and trying to count your interest before getting in there. Now we're on to streaks. Streak gold got changed a little bit. It's now slightly more rewarding to go on a streak. I think it's awesome. I'm going to be doing a video on win streaking in the early game and also lose streaking. So maybe that comes into play a little more in the future. And now you also get streak gold during PvE rounds, which I think is absolutely nuts because it snowballs win streaks even harder, and I guess lose streaks as well. So this might be something worth playing around because PvE you don't take any damage, so you get a lot of bonus gold during that round. Okay, so now for the shop. Level 3 drops only drop 1 and 2 cost champions. You can no longer get a 3 cost unit. So this makes forcing a little more difficult because you can't get high roll like a 3 cost unit right away. Level 5 also decrease the drop rates of 3 cost units. That's very interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. But at 6, they're making it so that you get more 3 cost. So maybe it's more worth leveling up to level 6, and you also can't get 1 drops as much. So maybe hyper roll strategies become a little weaker because if you don't hit it during level 4, level 5, it's going to be a lot more difficult getting it at level 5 or 6. At level 6. Now on to the level 7, the drops, you can get 1% for legendaries now. Man, I feel like that's a bad change. They should either make this 0 or make it higher, like maybe 4%, because at 1%, it just means whoever hits that critical legendary unit, it gets an even bigger power spike because that means no one else can get it. I really don't like this change. It makes it less skill intensive, I'm pretty sure. Level 8 drops, they compensate for it a little bit. Nope, they also reduce the 5 cost drop rate. But they do increase 4 cost by a tiny bit. I guess it's still a percent there. That's really the only difference, right? So it's going to be more difficult to get legendaries. I'm fine with adjusting the drop rate at level 8, but at level 7 it really doesn't make any sense because now it means whoever high rolls the legendary at level 7 gets an even bigger advantage. So now we're on to player damage. I heard this is a big change too. You now take a lot less damage because now you take 20 damage in late game rounds instead of 7, and that is huge. That means if you lose by 1 unit, it doesn't matter anymore. So that means, actually thinking about it, that means all-in strategies might get a little stronger. You know, you could like greed that extra round, lose by a big amount, but it doesn't actually change how much damage you took during that round. Wow, I wonder why they did that. And I don't think this change makes sense at all. Additional damage per surviving unit reduced to 1. Yeah, it's like, I don't like this change at all. It just means that there's no incentive to not get destroyed or to destroy someone, you know? Loot and item drops. Champions are now more likely than just pure gold from all the levels of bonus boxes. So gold changes are huge because this passive income change and now this. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to build a big economy, which means that we won't see people like having 70 gold or something like that and pre-leveling a bunch. Gold and medium champion boxes can't drop in the first 2 rounds. Nico's help is 35 less likely. to drop from all boxes. Okay, I like the Nico change. I absolutely hate Nico as a concept because if you get it really early, I actually hate those. And if you get it late, it's like so OP for whoever gets it late game because you don't really need Nico's early, you just want her late game. Movement. Okay, so everyone's a little slower, whatever. Champions now position more smoothly. Okay, I'm gonna assume all these changes are just to make it less frustrating to see your champion just walk around doing nothing, and it really does look like that because now they retarget if they can't hit anything. So that's a very good change. This is the best change so far. Mana is changed as well. It's now just flat 10 mana for attacking. And champions now use their mana later in the spell cast. I'm not too sure what this affects, but I guess we'll see it in action. Now for Carousel. The Carousel is now all one-cost champions. I hate this change at all because I don't know. There were their argument for changing this was people just always sold the 2-cost champion, but that's not always true. Like probably like 1 out of 10 games I keep the 2 costs. Now you really just care about. Yeah, I don't really know. They want you to care more about the champion, but I don't think this accomplishes that. Items are always going to be more important than the champion. So carousels have many more possibility combination of items. All right, that's fine. Spatulas can again appear on carousel, much less often from before. I thought spatula is fine, to be honest. I don't know why they made the no spatula change. It gives a comeback mechanic for players who are behind because the more options there are on carousel, the better it is to get a better carousel pick, right? Full items can now show up earlier than the 5th carousel. Interesting. And components can now show up in the 6th carousel and beyond. I love this change because sometimes you have that leftover component and you want to make an item from it and you can't because there are only full items on the carousels. So many new arrangements of carousel possibilities have been added. All right, so that's fine. Yeah, it's better than before, right? And now we're on to the other changes. 5 seconds have been added to each planning phase with the first patch learning as people ramped up. This will be removed in patch 10.7. I actually don't like this change at all because even though people are going to be taking more time, I don't want to have a crutch and then have it taken away. Seems kind of weird, but whatever. It's only for 1 patch. I shouldn't read too much into it. Grievous wounds healing reduction reduced to 50%, which means that Morello, Namicon, and Red Buff get drastically weaker. But maybe healing isn't as prevalent in set 3. Disarm no longer prevents spellcast. Okay, great change here. All champions in the game scale with AP in some way. I love this change because before there's some champions like Shen who didn't scale from AP at all, and putting rods on them is like completely useless. But I'm glad they make it so everyone can use every item now, or use more items now. Top card art style has been changed. All right, that's fine. Item combine rules. When units combine, items are placed on the combined unit in this priority. Thieves' gloves, random full items, random components. Okay, so now we know for sure that it's all random, so there are no more glitches or tricks to try to pop off items. Bug fix champions are now once again larger at 3-star compared to 2-star. I like that change. And long-standing issue with units with high attack speed sometimes having their basic attacks visually disappear mid-flight. And fix an issue where large attack speed increases during combat could cause units to visually desync their animations from their actual attack speed. Okay, so most of these other changes are all pretty good. Now onto the items. Hush is now Chalice of Favor. I think this item, it gives your teammates more mana, or some mana whenever you cast a spell or something like that. Iceborne Gauntlet is now Shroud of Stillness, and this one's like a kind of replaces the effect of Hush. It's like an anti-cast item that you can build. And Titanic Hydra is now ZZ Drop Portal. Spawn a Void Spawn at death, and it pretty much taunts enemies around the area, and it has like a lot of health. So we'll see how these turn out. I'm going to miss Titanic Hydra, not going to miss Iceborne. I'll miss Hush a little bit. Existing items, Bloodthirster healing reduced, so that makes sense because Red Buff and Morello got healing reductions reduced. Deathblade now starts at 2 stacks. Giant Slayer does a lot more damage now. Hextech heals less. Ionic Spark reduces enemy magic resist by 50%. I love this change. Wow, that's really cool. It gives you more options to play around like more team-oriented items. Morello damage increase. Quicksilver now immune for the first 15 seconds. This is a pretty big change, though the first 15 seconds are probably the most critical, and it still gets rid of Zephyr, so I'm thinking Quicksilver is still pretty good. Rabadon Seth cap nerfed by quite a bit. Wow. Red Buff burn increase. Redemption Wear heals the entire team upon death. Ooh, Redemption's busted now, right? Before it was just a circle, now it's your entire team. There's no way that you should change it like that. That makes it really, really strong. We'll see though. Runon's Hurricane projectile damage now does more damage, and Static Shiv does less damage for bounce. Warmogs deals less with a maximum of 150 per tick. And then lastly, Zeke's Herald gives more attack speed, and Zephyr reduced by 1 second. I'm glad they nerfed Zephyr a little bit. It's being a little overbuilt right now, and it helps a lot more when you're like tryharding at the game, like scouting every single round for Zephyrs and like trying to Zephyr people's carries. It's just way too strong when like people are really trying at the game. But I'm sure at lower elos it's not as bad. And probably no one builds this item as much as they should. Now into the League of Legends client. We'll skip this here because I don't think this is related to like competitive aspects of the game, but you just get like more tracking for like and new rewards for the new set. But we'll skip over that for now. Oh, I do want to point out the new booms can now be selected within party screens. This is pretty much just something that your little legend can do or something like that. So now onto the balance changes. I won't actually go over all of these because all these are new to us, so there's nothing for us to compare it to, but these are all relative to the PvE server. I highly recommend just checking out my videos for the champion costs that I've been doing, and so far I've done 5 costs, 4 costs, and I'm in the process of doing the 3, 2, and 1, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, super excited for this set. Let me know what you guys think about this set and what compositions you're most likely going to try in the first day in the comments below. And of course, if you like this video, definitely want to hit that subscribe button as it helps me out a lot in growing my channel, and then we can have more and more people learning about the game, and hopefully the game becomes a lot more popular because of that. And Friday will be when I release the meta snapshot, the first one for set 3, so you definitely want to look out for that. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and of course smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gain before the next video.